finding what works for your audience and how they consume the media. Do the stuff that works for them.
Let's be real, building a business is hard, and it's made harder by all the noise out there. In this new video series, we're demystifying what it takes to actually build a business. We'll be hearing from mentors and founders in our community to hear what gets real results, what doesn't work, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Naomi, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's really lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm a mentor at Digital Boost. I help mostly small businesses, people just starting up with either business strategy or predominantly marketing related things. So whether that's social media, figuring out where to find people that will buy their products, all of those kind of things. And my business is actually based around content marketing. So I'm a content marketing strategist, but like I say, it goes so far beyond content marketing.
So we're talking about content today, but from a social media lens. For anyone out there, just how important is social media for small business owners?
It's a really tricky question sometimes to answer because people get so fixated on social media being free and therefore the easy win. But my answer goes to every single business owner. If your audience isn't there and they're not watching it, focus on the stuff that's going to make you the money, because that's what's key. And it's good to have a presence and be visible and be able to have those conversations, but it really does depend on who are the people that are going to buy from you. So it's finding that balance. And when it comes to marketing, I could do my marketing for 26 hours in a day and still not do as much as I want to. So we have to focus on the activities that are going to get us the visibility the quickest and the biggest ways, without focusing on one thing that isn't. And there's so much time wasted on social media sometimes, which doesn't get people results. So actually, if it's doing a bit of grassroots community marketing for your business, do that instead of social media all the time. It's about finding the right strategies for your business.
Yeah, I think that's really reassuring, because you're right, like social media doesn't always work and it's a bit of a time suck. So it's nice to hear that it's not the be all and end all.
No, and actually I've been doing social media since before Facebook pages began. So I feel like I'm quite old talking about it now. But before then, marketing was very much about broadcast. It was about paid for. It was a very different form of marketing. In a way, we've had it very lucky having these free platforms that we can use. But because it's free, people think it's an easy win. And it isn't, because we have to look at it from our audience point of view, or who's going to buy, and understand their behaviors of where they're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when we think about a good social media strategy, which is quite hard to define, what impact has having a good social media strategy had on you and your business?
It definitely makes a difference having the right strategy for social media. I think what is really effective right now is the storytelling element. It's the authenticity, because we've seen like AI is becoming something we have to adapt to, we have to use in our businesses now. But what the risk is for small businesses is they can put something into ChatGPT, get an answer which basically says phrases like spinning your reels, no fluff, all of these things, but it's so generic, it takes away that personality, and people buy from people. And that's why having that social media plan for your business, it doesn't mean being constant, it means being consistent, but telling stories that connect with people is so important right now. And I would much rather people would do one platform, 3 posts a week, and do that consistently, rather than go, I'm going to do 5 posts this week and none at all, because actually it's a consistency that wins and is key.
That's so reassuring, because you think I've got to be on every single platform, I've got to be posting 17 times a day, and it sounds like that's just not the case.
No, and actually the one thing most people forget when it comes to social media is it's social. It's not just about posting and ghosting. It's about actually engaging with other people that your ideal clients and your customers would follow, and actually engaging in those conversations, because that is what builds the momentum on your social media channels. It's what's going to get you clients, because actually just popping stuff out there, it's like if a tree fell down in the woods, would anyone hear it if no one's there? It's exactly the same with social media. They don't know you're there just because it's online. So you have to do the work a little bit. And it's, again, being strategic with your time and using it to build that audience. It's how I teach people that work with me that if you're going to use social media, focus on the platform they are on, but make sure you're doing the engagement work. Put some content out there, in a way that's realistic to you. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be dead easy, but actually then go out and do the engagement as well, because that will really help make a difference to you growing your business. And that's exactly what I do now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to do some myth busting now, or we'll call it true or false. So we've covered it already, but true or false, you have to be on all social media platforms.
No, it's false. That's definitely a false. I wish I had time to do all the social media platforms, but there are actually hundreds. So definitely don't need to do that. Do one well, do it really well, and focus on that.
Perfect. True or false, you have to post every day to move up the algorithm.
It's consistency that really wins. And actually, it's the engagement side of it as well. So even if you're liking and commenting on someone else, that's probably going to get you more authority in the algorithm than actually posting yourself.
True or false, videos are the only thing worth posting nowadays.
Oh, that's a really good one. I do a mix, but actually the ones that work best for me are carousels on Instagram at the moment.
Wow.
But that is my strategy. But I use a really strong hook. So it's finding what works for your audience and how they consume the media. Do the stuff that works for them.
True or false, social media won't bring you sales. It's more for brand building and engagement.
Oh, I would say that's false. I mean, brand building and engagement, yes, it does do, but that helps bring you sales. I've been doing a launch in the last week and I've got sales through social media. Actually, several of the people that brought me have found me through social media. So, where they convert sometimes is on the email list. So it's about really building that right journey, but absolutely you can make sales from social media.
Yeah.
Otherwise no one would do it.
True or false, engaging on your socials is just important as posting.
True. Totally true. Yeah. I mean, we often forget, like I say, we often are consumed with putting out what we think is important for our audience, but actually it's important to look at it from their perspective. So you imagine that if you've liked someone that you follow, that you would work with or something like that, and they reply back to you, how that makes you feel. That makes you feel really special. It makes you feel like you're being listened to and understood. And that's ultimately what your clients and customers want to feel. So it's really important to build that engagement. Show that you care, because that's what people really need, because you have to understand from their mindset of where they are now. Generally, they're looking to work with someone or buy something from someone because they want to be taken away from pain or taken towards pleasure. So if it's most small businesses take people away from pain, solve a problem for them in that way, you have to get into how they are feeling, their emotional depths. And that by that doing that engagement, it builds that rapport, it builds that connection. I often say start with those small talk conversations. It doesn't have to be, do you want to buy something from me? Because I can absolutely guarantee if someone slides in the DMs and does that, they'll be blocked.
True or false, quantity is more important than quality.
I'd always go for quality. I often say, when you're thinking about social media, it's usually, for most people, me on the other hand, because I'm a content marketer, it's usually always on my mind. But for most people, it's like that nagging toddler that's kind of going, I haven't posted anything, I must go and post something. So they fling something out there and it does nothing. It's a waste of time. But actually, if you could consistently do 2 or 3 posts a week, or a couple of stories, or one video, do that. Stick to what is manageable for you, because that will probably work better for you in the long term.
Final one. I'm really interested in this one. True or false, hashtags are not important anymore.
I use them both. I sometimes use them on some channels and not on others. And again, I think it depends on the audience and what the purpose is you're trying to do. So I would say true, they're not as important, but certainly on some platforms they can be. So like for TikTok, for instance, which is known as like a social media channel, but really it's there for search. So in some age groups, actually it takes precedent over Google in terms of people searching. So therefore hashtags would be more important there for people finding content. And it's much more about that, what I call the evergreen content, the content that lives on past the date you post it. And a lot of the social media channels are shifting that way too. So yes, they can be important, but they're not the be all and end all. So if you get to put your hashtags on, I wouldn't worry too much, but test different ones.
What tools as a marketer, or what social media tools as a marketer can you not live without?
For me, I just keep a really simple spreadsheet. I use Canva a lot. I mean, Canva is such a great tool, and particularly if you buy Pro, you can do all the editing. It gives you all of those templates. You can copy reproduce, so you can create bulk content like really easily. Like I could create a whole year's worth of content in 30 minutes because it takes that hassle out. That is stuff that you can do as well. So it's about, some of the tools is about finding what makes it easier for you, but a lot of it I can do on my phone rather than my Mac. So it's about getting the systems that work. And again, actually, I also use, I suppose in terms of other tech, I have a little mic. I have a mic which I use, but they're not expensive stuff. I am a simple person. I don't like complicated tech, and have a stand that I can put my phone on if I'm doing a live or something like that. And that's about it. And that's all I really have. So you don't need lots of really complicated stuff to actually achieve what you want.
Yeah. That's, again, very reassuring.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think we overcomplicate it. I think we feel like we need all the tech in the world and we don't know how to do stuff. So therefore that becomes a barrier. But actually, most of my videos are pretty rough and ready, straight out of social, and they're the ones that usually do the best anyway.
Yeah. Final question. If someone is sat here and they are just about to start on social media, or they've started and they're just feeling a bit stuck in a rut, what 2 pieces of advice would you give them?
I always say keep it really, really simple. So even if you're not confident on taking your own pictures on camera, just show people where you're working or what you're doing that day. Just do something small and just put like a real simple caption with it. Don't make it too complicated for you to put out there. So that is one thing I would do. And just take your time to get to grips with platforms. I think figure out which one you are most comfortable with. If you really dislike, say, TikTok, don't do it. It's not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to do it. You're going to resent it the whole time.
Thank you so much to today's guests for sharing their insights on how to grow a business. To access free business support and one-to-one mentoring, visit the link on screen.